Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the next installment in this amazing series of Women Making Herstory. I am your host today, Nancy Matthews, one of the founders of Women's Prosperity Network, and it has been our pure honor and pleasure to be able to bring you these 31 visionary women. And today is absolutely no exception to that. This is a new friend and colleague, although we did meet quickly about 2 years ago, and then our paths have crossed again, which you just reminded me of. So I love the way the universe works and all of that. Justine Gonzalez is with us today, and I am so grateful to have you with us. Thank you for making the time.
Hi, thank you for having me. Grateful to be here.
Yes, my absolute pleasure. And for all of our viewers, what we're going to be talking about today with Justine is how she's making herstory, having to do with connection. And we'll go deeper into that in just a moment. But let me share with you this amazing, accomplished woman that we have with us today. So after teaching and serving in district roles in Indianapolis Public Schools, Justine was accepted to the nationally acclaimed New Leaders Principal Residency Program in Chicago. Afterwards, she served as an administrator in Chicago's Public Schools Turnaround Network, AUSL. Following her time in Chicago, she became a founding principal for a network of schools focused on disengaged youth in Indianapolis. Within 1 year, she was promoted to serve as a regional director or superintendent for 10 high school campuses across Indiana. Wow. So Justine is currently the founder and principal of Educator Aid, which is a consulting company specializing in cultural transformation in the education sector. This is so good. She also serves as a founding board member for the MILA, M-I-L-A Foundation and Midwest Center for Social Services. She's currently pursuing her PhD in Educational Administration and K-12 district leadership. And in her free time, she loves to cook, travel, practice yoga, and spend quality time with loved ones. So you are doing some big things to make a lasting change in our world. Thank you for how you show up.
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you for the great introduction, and just excited to be here and dive just a little bit into how important it is to have that skill of being able to connect deeply, not only with those we lead, but just on a daily basis, right? And like you said, the work that we're doing every day, we can't do it without other people. I think a lot of times people say, oh, that's a lost art, and we're so connected, we're disconnected. I think there's truth in that. But I also think that it's a skill that can be developed, and we really need to focus on that, no matter what role you're in, whether you're an educator, entrepreneur, etc.
Absolutely, because the world is people. So we are in alignment on that for sure. That's what the One Philosophy is all about, is creating that connection with other human beings. And I want to go back just a step. So when I think about somebody who has a desire to be a teacher, many of the teachers I know, they want to make a difference in the child's life. Your vision is so big for what's possible in the education sector. I mean, that's our future. How did that come about for you?
Yeah, so me and both of my siblings were actually first generation college grads. And we paid our way through school, and I'm sharing just a little story because it's kind of when I had that wake up realization, and I was serving on the east side of Indianapolis, and I would go give plasma after I student taught every day because, you have to have gas money. But very quickly, I became friends with one of the nurses because she would see me every week. And she said, you're learning to be a teacher. My daughter can't read. Can you help her? And from there, like, I literally would go to her house and tutor her daughter in reading. And I think I've always had a passion for teaching. From ever since I was little, I remember wanting to be a teacher. But I think that now when I look back, connecting those dots of the power of connection and your willingness to be in the community, to connect with anybody, no matter their walk of life, right? Diversity can mean so many different things, just and on so many different levels. But just being open to have that initial connection, because had I not ever said, hey, what's your name? How long have you been working here? And where are you from, right? Just even those things that sometimes we take for granted because of social media, and we feel like, oh yeah, I know that person, we're friends. Well, are we really? Are we deeply connected? And so I thank God, and I share that story because I'm so grateful just for all the different stepping stones along the way, and so many women who kind of reconfirmed, look, you have the ability to connect with people, and that's a gift. But I also believe it's a skill that we can develop, and we can develop in educators. And I think it's very pivotal at our point right now, even as a country, that we do more listening and understanding to connect with each other rather than to be disagreeable or just respond or react, right?
Yeah. You know, it's interesting as you talk about our country, and I would assume most viewers recognize that there is some division happening in our country right now. And as you're talking about this, and I think back, like, we are a melting pot. We're designed to have different cultures and ages and races and, you know, preferences. That's like who we are. So creating a way for us to connect again because of our humanness, not because of anything else, right?
Right. That's so exactly right. And often, you know, I think about, again, I keep going back to it, and because we tend to gravitate towards social media, we lose that connection. I was reading something the other day, just even about people who might be in sales, right? And for people who are watching this who are entrepreneurs, we focus so much on that sales portion versus really truly having a deep relationship and getting to know that person as a partner in the work.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, how can I serve this person? And really, we can't even get, and there's 3 core skills that we teach in our cultural mastery process, which we can revisit in a minute, but we can't get to true levels of collaboration, nor can we really appreciate diversity of thought or maybe what a potential client is sharing with us if we haven't first started with having that skill of connecting.
Yeah, agreed 100%. So we've kind of dovetailed and alluded to this cultural mastery thing.
Yeah.
So I want to go deeper into that, and I'm going to announce this is the first time I'm sharing what we're up to together. So yay. Cultural Mastery is partnering with Women's Prosperity Network, and we are doing a cultural health study of female leaders. So I know it's really good. And here's, for me, I think I have built-in prejudices that I don't even realize I have. And part of my love of humans is I want to get my field as clean as possible so I can just be love. And that's kind of my inspiration. And I would love our whole community who feels this already to have the tools and the skills to be able to come from that. So speak a little bit about this, the stages and the mastery, all of that. That's your expertise.
So again, I like short little stories. I'll keep it short, but I did not grow up super close with some of my family members. We have a huge extended family, and full disclosure, I knew my uncle was in business. Reached out to him a couple years ago, again, by the grace of God, the universe, that I wanted his advice. And I thought, he'll give it to me straight. He's been in business.
Yeah.
And he had written this phenomenal book called The 6 Stages of Cultural Mastery. And I said, I want to be a part of this. How can I bring this to education and educators? And so from there, we've been working together for almost 2 years now. I'm centering a lot of my current research around this and looking at different studies like the one that Women's Prosperity Network is going to engage with. But we are so excited because we have a multi-tiered, refined process for how do we actually get people to a true level of endearment. That's our last stage in the 6 stages of cultural mastery. Meaning, how can I walk away from working with this person and either say, I'm learning to love you, or I truly love you? Because if we're emotionally resisting someone, we won't be able to lead them well.
Yes.
And just like you said earlier, if we don't have that introspective process first, reflect on who we are as a leader, then it's very hard for us to lead any type of external transformation. And similarly, so we also have this belief that, the parts make the whole. If an organization is unhealthy, it's because the individuals within that organization perhaps do not have the cultural skill that's necessary to do really, really well, right, and lead others. Yeah. And so we're really excited. We have multiple courses that we offer, as well as learning cohorts, coaching cycles. We have a full-scale cultural health assessment, which we'll be working with you on, and that really measures 30 different data points. So to your point, it really examines to people's core, maybe what are some of the things that could help them be more successful with connecting? Maybe what are some of the blind spots that they don't realize they have?
Yeah, well, and it's interesting, and I'm very excited about being chosen and doing this study in our collaboration. And as I think about it, when you are having a client that you want to serve, a common thing that I see show up in lots of my clients that I work with is they need to put themselves in the client's shoes in order to use their language, in order to be able to empathize, to really feel that client, that you get them. That's what's going to get them want to do business with you. So this skill set of clearing our pathways to deeper connections, to that place of endearment you talk about, is going to help them not only in their personal relationships. The business will transform because you're being different with the people you're serving.
Yeah. Well, and that our typical reflection we're getting, and these are from high-level leaders across all years, is it has totally shifted not only my approach to professional relationships, but also personal. And I can attest to that. I have built my entire company around bringing these concepts and teachings to transforming the world of education and then other sectors beyond. That's how much I believe in it, and how much it's really shifted my thinking as a leader. And I look back, I think, I would have been even more effective. I would have been so much more effective had I had it. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for making herstory, for impacting our community, for impacting the educational sector. Like, that's our future. And if our children, our educators, and then our children can grow up with this skill set of cultural mastery, and the world, I imagine, is beautiful, synergistic, filled with love, and really getting how we're all meant to be different. We're not all meant to be the same. We're all meant to be different. So I'm excited about the world that's coming.
Yeah, and how do we collaborate effectively with those differences, right?
Yeah.
Because we can bring in all the diversity to our teams in the world, but how do we lead it well? And how do we ensure that there's true collaboration happening? And that takes a refined process to get there. And so we're thrilled with the results we're seeing. Again, just to share a snapshot, because I'm a total geek when it comes to data. One of the recent schools I worked with, over 50% of the teachers, this is just one data point, over 50% of the teachers who were part of this assessment reported that they did not feel mutually endeared or have mutual endearment with any of their students. Over 50%.
Wow.
So,
right, what kind of landscape does that create, and what kind of culture of nurture and education? I mean, it's so essential.
And that's where we help, right? Because sometimes it's hard to get people to that place where they will stop and say, I don't just have a job. I'm not just running a company. I'm not just this, fill in the blank.
Mm-hmm.
How do I actually make this my mission, my calling, and how do I serve others in love? And how do I serve others really, really well? And that can only happen when we truly have developed our skills to connect, create, and collaborate, which is the essence of cultural mastery.
So as our viewers are watching this, I imagine you're thinking, I can see why Nancy's having Justine. I can see, because we're in alignment, and I am so excited to have a new skill set to support me and have that be part of our culture, all of that. So thank you. Thank you. All right. We could go on for a while, and we will. So there's more to come on the whole study that we're doing. So we'll share more about that. What I want to ask now, that I'm asking all of my guests, who is a woman in history that had a big impact in your life?
Oh, this is such a tough question, Nancy, because there's so many, right, that we always want to give shout outs to. But I would like to shout out Olga La Luz. She was my very first coach when I went into principal residency in Chicago Public Schools, and she totally shifted the way I thought about productivity and prioritization. She showed up to my school one day and she said, I'm going to give you a strategy because you're all over the place. And if you don't get focused daily on your big rocks, right, what are those priorities that are most important for what you're doing and for your school, then you're going to continue to be all over the place, right? And I think probably a lot of people watching this can relate. You always have competing priorities, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're in a leadership role, and how do you prioritize that? So she gave me a great strategy. She said, literally, take out 3 Post-its, and when you're done, you can throw them away, but you only get 3 every day. Those are your biggest rocks. You can keep another to-do list, whatever. And it might sound really simple, but I needed that. Yeah. And it honestly really changed my leadership. So
I love that. That's good. I have a similar strategy. I make a list, and if there might be 30 things on that list, but I write 1, 2, and 3. I'm doing this first, this second, and this third. And it's fascinating to watch when I start doing something else and I go, oh, that's not number 1, 2, or 3. But it brings right? It brings, like, you notice, oh, here's oh, I'm not, this isn't the sticky.
Well, and I think you also realize really quick, well, really what's most important and why am I making that decision, right, as a leader. So it was really transformational. So
awesome. Thank you for that. And what was her name? Olga?
Olga La Luz.
Thank you, Olga La Luz.
I shared it. So yes.
Okay, great. Awesome. So this has been fantastic. I'm sure our viewers are loving it. Their eyes are opening to new ways of creating connection. So stay tuned for more from us about this study that we're doing. And then also there's a link at the bottom for you to have a gift to start your experience with cultural mastery and the skill set. So describe what that is for our viewers.
Yeah, so we've, again, in Ricardo, right, he's the author of the 6 Stages of Cultural Mastery. You can get a chance to read part of the book, access one of our trial lessons specifically for entrepreneurs, and really see what is this process like. So you actually get one of the entire lessons from the course. And so we do have a certification and coaching process, a lot of other elements that are included, but we really want people to get a taste before they dive into the learning experience. So looking forward to people accessing that and experiencing it.
Excellent. So thank you for being with us. And I so appreciate you, how you're making herstory and the impact having in my life personally, and then my entire community. So thank you, my friend.
Thank you so much, Nancy. Very grateful.
My pleasure. My pleasure. And to our viewers, thank you for joining us. Be sure to go ahead and click on that link for the gift from Justine and start to get a taste of what this cultural mastery is about. I know firsthand that you will immediately experience ahas and see things in a new way. You know, there's a quote coming to mind that's, we don't see things as they are, we see things as we are. So
Mm.
if I want to really see things, I need to be seeing from a different perspective. I have to adjust my lens, and that's part of what this work will do. So awesome. Click the link below. Stay tuned. Check your inbox for the next installment of this amazing series. And thank you all for making herstory. Take care now. Bye, Justine.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome.